I've been discussing this concept with my friend Stan recently. It's sort of a cheat code to life or an ethos to see the world through that will really help you and give you a leg up in your life and in your career. I want to share it because it's so potent and it's something that I really think the world needs to hear right now in the state of how it is. Um, and I see so many people, including myself, who struggle, but not because of a lack of effort, but because their effort is placed in the wrong area. I remember back to high school in grade 12 when we were approaching our final exams and our university. We needed a score to get into university, and there were two boys, and one of them was protective of his work, and he wanted to boost his own score, so he didn't want to share the things that he had figured out, which is fair enough. And there was another boy who would openly share his answers, and he would say, "Yep, come, I'll show you how to do it. Let me help you." And it was such a stark difference. And when I look back at that time, I have two very different ideas of those two people. So I want to ask you a few questions, um, and I want you to reflect on them and see what you come up with. So the first question is, which of those boys do you think you'd respect more after hearing this story? Which of those boys would you be more likely to help if they needed something? Which of those boys do you think walks around with a smile on their face in life and is happier? And which of those boys do you think has a better life in general? I want to tell you a story. I'm going to read it because it's quite long, but it's a story passed down through generations, and there's not really a specific source, but it really is beautiful and it drives this message home. In a distant land, there was a river that flowed through a lush valley. The river was known for its clear, nourishing waters that supported all forms of life in the valley. It provided water to the plants, trees, and animals, and its banks were always green and fertile. One day, a traveler came to the river and asked, "Why do you give so much of yourself to others without expecting anything?" The river smiled and replied, "I give because it's in my nature to flow and nourish. By quenching the thirst of others, I find my own fulfillment." And as the traveler continued his journey, he noticed how the trees along the river bank shed their leaves, which fell into the river and enriched its waters with nutrients. He saw animals drinking from the river and then spreading seeds and plants along the valley, ensuring its growth and diversity. The traveler realized that the river's generosity was returned in countless ways. The plants and animals that relied on the river helped sustain its flow, and the entire valley flourished as a result. And over time, the traveler shared the river's wisdom with others. People began to understand that by helping others without expecting immediate rewards, they could create a cycle of abundance and support that benefited everyone. And so the river continued to flow, its waters ever clear and life-giving, a testament to the power of selfless giving and natural reciprocity that arises from it. To be rewarded like a king, you have to have the attitude of a servant. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Gandhi. Most people don't find passion and success in their whole life, which is a big shame because, in my eyes, that's one of the most worthy endeavors. And the reason I think they don't, and the reason that I struggle for so long and continue to struggle, is because we're too focused on finding it internally. We're too focused on ourselves. And there are four reasons that this natural paradox exists. The first reason is that helping yourself, you only can feel the joy and the satisfaction of one person, but helping others gives you the satisfaction of many. So I learned this concept in a book by Huston Smith called The World's Religions. It was originally titled The Religions of Man, if you look it up and you can't find it. And in that book, in the section about Hinduism, he was talking about the Hindus have these stages of satisfaction. The very bottom stage, sort of like Maslow's hierarchy, is doing things to satisfy yourself, like basically small pleasures. And the Hindus believe that these are also important. They're critical to satisfaction in life, but they can only take you so far. Doing things for yourself, even if it makes you happy, you only feel the happiness of one. But if you do things to help others, to help your community, your society, you feel the success of many, like the river did in that story. It's like winning a gold medal and then calling it a day, or winning your gold medal and then coaching 10 other athletes to win 10 more gold medals, all for themselves, all to be shared with their families. And that's a much more hearty and meaningful pursuit. The second reason that this paradox holds true is that helping other people creates a loyal, devout group of followers that will help you in return. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. Zig Ziglar. When you help someone, they want to help you back. When you buy someone a coffee, they want to buy you a coffee back. This is the natural principle of reciprocity. And it's not manipulative to help someone, even if you know that they want to help you back. That's just a natural, universal principle. You need to help them out of the genuine place in your heart, wanting to help them, and whatever you get back, that's a bonus. That's just a win-win scenario. Do good for others, and you will have a bunch of connections and a network of people who want to help you back all the time. This is why people that are so successful, they can go bust and then reach out to a friend, and all of a sudden they're back on their feet. The third thing is, by being of service to other people, you build a rock solid, a strong reputation. My buddy Casey runs a traffic engineering firm, and we were having a coffee the other morning, and he said to me that he doesn't actually do cold outreach anymore. He doesn't cold call anyone. He doesn't email anyone for clients. He just relies on the word of mouth through delivering projects. And that's exactly what providing value can give to you. That's the same reason that Robert De Niro doesn't have to audition for a role anymore, because he's provided value so many times over and over again that people know him, people know what he's capable of, and they know what he'll do, and they beg him to come now. And that's what providing value does. It creates this aura around you that of value, and people know what you're going to bring to the table. Reason number 4 that this paradox holds true is that it gives you its innate purpose. That's what this is. For example, a shovel. The purpose of a shovel is to assist the person in moving the dirt, because of its large scoop thingy and the lever arm to provide a mechanical advantage so you don't have to manually get in there. And that's all purpose is. It's what's the thing that this object can do to help me. That's its purpose. And my purpose is, what can I do to help others? You see? And yeah, if you're someone who's, let's say you're highly organized and you see someone creating a schedule or a to-do thing and they're all frantic, they can't create it, you say, hey, I can help you with that. Take that off their plate, create their schedule for them, their to-do, and pass it back and say, hey, look, it's all scheduled now. If you love business and you're like a very calming kind of person, become a business consultant for people. If you love to install doors for a living, then go and install the best door that works well, and polish the doorknob and deliver the service well. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." So that was all very philosophical and an idea, but I want to break it down into some actionable steps to go from here. So here are 4 steps that I think are useful to becoming a very valuable person. So step 1 is to start becoming more actively conscious of how you can help other people. So like the shovel example we talked about earlier, what can you do? What is your gift and your passion and your strengths that you can help other people with? And now you need to look throughout your daily life, everywhere, be scanning it all the time at work. What can I help with? How can I take things off people's plates to allow them to do what they're good at and allow me to do what I'm good at? And that's how you create a symbiotic relationship. That's how you add value to any kind of process. Something that I want to flag though, like a side note, is don't ever go and ask someone, "Oh, how can I help?" Because that is outsourcing the help. That is saying, "You tell me what I can do." Like, there's nothing worse when you're setting up a campsite and someone comes up and goes, "Oh, what can I do?" It's like, I don't know, look around. I'm focusing on this job. You use your ability, you use your cognitive ability to help with this situation. The second thing, and probably the most important step, is to do what you say you'll do in a timely way. So the job isn't done once you take it off their plate. The job has only just begun. Now you need to actually execute it and deliver it to a high quality and care about what you're doing, because the last thing you want to do is to take something off their plate. They're not worried about it anymore. They've left it to you. You don't do a good job. You give it back, and now they're behind schedule and they have to redo it anyway. So that's worst case scenario. So in this whole process of giving value, you have to make sure you actually give the value to a high quality and on time. The third thing is to focus on giving. So that's giving physical things, that's giving time, that's giving effort and energy. Like, I think back to the other day, I was at site and I was working with the client, and she had a bit of a rough morning and she was a bit tired, and I had a spare coffee pod as I was leaving, and that thing's worth 30 cents. So I said, "Here, have a coffee pod, and like you probably need it." And the look on her face sort of just reinforced this whole idea for me, and it made me realize how important it is. She just had so much gratitude for this coffee pod. She literally kissed the coffee pod, and I was blown away actually. And that to me is the closest thing that we have to creating matter out of nothing, or creating energy out of nothing. It's bigger than the sum of its parts. I didn't do much, and I didn't give a very valuable item, but the value that was received from it was so much larger. And just think about what that does. It's creating more out of nothing, and now she might go and help someone else in the same way, and that's infinite energy and infinite value. Now, the fourth thing is, if someone asks you for help or you are helping someone, do it graciously. My favorite saying in this way, and I know that a lot of people use this phrase, is anything for you. I'll do anything for you. Like, let's make it happen. And this, because giving is one thing, but if you give and you're like, yeah, I'll do it, that's not really the true purpose of this. It's not the nature of it. It's giving it with like your whole heart, and it's saying, I'll do anything it takes to help you out right now. So, sort of in a quick summary, to have a more fulfilled life and career and move up, just focus on giving people. Simplify it. Just don't worry about all the other stuff. Just focus on giving and providing value. But that does come with caution, and there's two things that I want to warn you of. The first is giving to the point where you're damaging yourself. And this is a very common thing that we all do, is spreading ourselves too thin. You don't want to do that. You want to, part of adding value is saying, no, I can't help right now. You might need to go to someone else. And then they won't be disappointed in the end because they came to you and then you weren't able to deliver it because you're overwhelmed with helping people. So make sure you know how to say no. The second thing is, don't place your value in the hands of other people in this process. So don't help people to receive a thanks, and don't base yourself off of whenever they are happy with you, because this is a very shallow way of existing, and you won't be able to have any innate satisfaction. You'll be reliant on the mood that they're in that day, or you're not doing this to get doggy treats. You're doing this purely to help. And so you have to keep that in mind. So my final note that I want to leave you with is, and I'm not Christian and I actually try and abstain from any dogma or belief in general, but this part of the Bible really speaks to this idea, and I really wanted to talk about it. So it's this part where James and John, who are known as the sons of thunder, they come to Jesus with a request as they're preparing to die. And they say, Lord, when you sit on your glorious throne, we want to sit in places next to you, one on your right and one on your left. They wanted to be the honorable disciples. We did all this work. We want to be recognized. That's all we ask of you. And Jesus thought to himself and said, they've missed the point. They've missed all of my teachings. And that's a point that he would really drive home later in the Bible when he dies on the cross. So he pauses, he looks at them and he says, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And I think that beautifully sums up this whole purpose, and that even this almighty Son of Man or Son of God is devoted to being in service to others. So even though he is a king, he is a servant. So I really hope you found this valuable. This is my first video. I write a weekly newsletter, and I'm going to start recording these videos in parallel. So because I know some people like to listen and watch more than read. So that's that. And this concept really made a big difference in my life. It made it so much easier for me to just focus on giving value. I don't have to worry about all the little technicalities, the details. I just every single day focus on what can I do? What are my strengths that can bring to the world, bring value to the world, bring value directly to other people. And that has just filled me with much more purpose and satisfaction. So I really hope that you can take something from that, and let me know if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks.